Hey guys, thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And I hope you enjoyed this interview. All right, welcome back to the program. I have my guest joining me virtually. He's Professor Ameiyofori Felix. He's an economic analyst. Professor Felix, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Nancy, and it's a pleasure being on the program with you today.
Okay, thank you very much. I think let's get started from what the president said after the Edo election yesterday. We know that sometimes they say politics trumps the economy. You also have what they call political economy and all of that. And the politicians are those people that make economic policies. President Tinubu says that the Edo election victory for APC is a signal that the people are endorsing the APC's economic policies and its commitment to improving lives of Nigerians. What do you have to say about that as we get into the discussion proper?
Well, of course, if you see the results, it's not so much of a difference between the PDP and the APC. I would probably worry more if it had been, a major difference, and the APC would probably have come out with their festival drum to beat and dance on the streets. But you see PDP, neck to APC. I'm not sure that is completely what my assessment will be. I think it's a good chase, but also you should also look at when the APC, the Nigerian politics is not really at an ideological position. It's more of party structure. So APC at the center and APC at the state is what probably I see, and not necessarily so that APC is acceptable to the people. The gap between PDP and APC just speaks so much that it's a close run.
Prof, I don't know if you understood my question. My question is around what President Tinubu mentioned as to that the victory in Edo is as a result of Nigerians believe or endorse APC's economic policies, progressive ideals. Do you think that majority of Nigerians agree with President Tinubu in terms of what he's saying, that his policies are good for the economy is okay now, that is why the people voted for APC in Edo State? For me, nothing concerns me and what they did yesterday, though of course I get it with my colleagues to speak on politics and all of that when it comes to that, but I'm taking a look at the import of what President Tinubu said yesterday, if that really resonates with majority of Nigerians. When it comes to politics, fine, I could discuss that, but we're looking at the political economy now of what he said.
Yeah, okay. I think Nancy understood your question. I think my response probably is remote, but APC won the election in Edo State, but with just a margin, not a landslide. And so I do not subscribe that it is because of a popular view of accepting Tinubu economy. That is just what I was trying to say. It's a popular view. Then I would, Labour Party came distant third and second. Tinubu economy, honestly, is, I will probably say, it's an economy that he wants to turn around. And he had mentioned it from campaign till now, that it's going to be hard, it's going to be stressful, but he believes that there'll be light in the tunnel, at the end of the tunnel. So presently, I can tell you that Nigerians are, hit below the belt. So I don't think, that is my personal view, that the APC in Edo State, it's a popular acceptance of the stress or the distress that the people are going through. It's just a party alignment, and it's just a margin. That is my own personal view on the statement. So the president, honestly, I wouldn't expect him to say anything different.
Anything else?
Because I wouldn't expect him to say anything different, because he is APC, and APC winning at the state level is a plus to him, and it's a plus. But I'm not sure it's a popular view regarding how well the economy is doing.
Yeah, okay, I think you just got it, that you don't expect the president to say anything else. He's an APC man, you know. He campaigned on that, and he's there as president.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't say anything else. Moreover, he should even be happy that Edo State now has been added to the APC fold, you know. But like I mentioned earlier, I'm not talking, I'm not talking politics, but I needed to ask that question to find out, of course, from you if generality of Nigerians also feel the same way as the president feels and mentioned. Now, if you take a look at the 15 months of President Tinubu, I know I spoke to you some time ago. It's been a while. And I think I spoke to you before President Tinubu clocked 1 year, if I'm not mistaken. So we haven't spoken since then. How would you assess President Tinubu's economic policies? What would tag Tinubunomics? You know, you actually mentioned that earlier on, that President Tinubu has said, okay, his policies will be hard, but there'll be light at the end of the tunnel. What do you have to say about is going to be hard before we see light at the end, end of the tunnel?
I think I will probably look at it from two perspectives. From the educated perspective and from the perspective of the masses. Because whether you like it or not, there is a huge inequality in Nigeria. And then also, you know, there is a major dichotomy in the economic structure across the regions. Tinubu had said that it's going to be tough. And those of us who watch the numbers and see what I would call genuine intentions, but they are like a surgeon with a knife. And the only thing that I think, if you remember the last time we spoke, when they took up the subsidy, the only thing I say is that we don't have to have come this way if there has been a deliberate, you know, approach, if there has been a full understanding of the economic challenges, and then, you know, putting it in perspective. But, you know, he was just trying to score some political score, and it is hitting a lot of the people. Only those who understand economic numbers, policy numbers, would wait to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But the majority of Nigerians would not subscribe that the economy is doing very well. And I do not blame anybody. A lot of things, I mean, so many things are happening within the same period. Electricity tariff, you know, fuel, you know, energy costs, you know, and of course, the boomerang effect. You know, everything is food and, you know, energy costs are skyrocketing. Of course, Nigeria is a system that, you know, the flow of sentiment is very high, because we've been, I will probably say, under a relatively depressed, you know, state, you know, in the past few years. So whatever that happens, just boomerangs. So I would say from a purely analytical, economic, enlightened view that I could see the direction.
What is the direction, Professor Felix?
The direction
what direction are you feeling? Okay. Are you saying? Because
I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. If you want to look at total economic structure, you have to look at not only the monetary side, the fiscal side, and all that. So what I see is this, that Tinubu is trying to provide one of the major, deficit, infrastructure. And the question is, how soon will that mature? There's a lot of effort on infrastructure. Food inflation is relatively high. Energy is high. We're probably going to talk about Dangote and all of the, arithmetic behind it. But then, the movement of food from the north, the basket, to the consumers in the south, and back forth and all that, so many things that he wants to solve at the same time. That is the distress. But are they in the direction that eventually they will pay out? Yes. But then how soon is what people should be looking at? Because you just balloon petrol price, you want to benchmark it international price. Somebody asked me, is that a good thing to do? I said I wouldn't have any problem, but our per capita is so low. I mean, our GDP per capita, the purchasing power has been eroded by inflation. So when you had these multiple economic, solution that you want to provide at the same time, then you will depress the people. So that is just what I'm going to say. A lot of infrastructure projects are going on. Of course, the recent visit to China, I guess you monitor all that. The outcome of the Chinese visit is quite projecting. But the result, the dividends and the timeline is what is in question. But is it thinking and working and putting the numbers and putting the system that it will pay out? I think from purely an innocent view, I think so. But what are the things you needed to have done to have, in economics, we have long run, short term, medium term. Those are the areas that I am not subscribing to Tinubu model, because before you come to president, you already know the country is in this way. So why didn't you plan in a manner that you can mitigate the short-term impact while you are building the medium-term and the long-term benefit? Those are the things that I think I didn't score is economics, very, high in terms of forgetting that there will be an immediate, if you are going to do all of this, what will be the socioeconomic impact in the short term on the people? What would you expect the people to do? And okay, for instance, labor union, federal government signing 70,000 naira minimum, or if anybody doesn't pay, you go to jail and all that. Okay, fine. But, what are the short-term measures while you are putting a long-term solution? Those are the things I have on the Tinubu economics. But that, are they projective? I think so. Will we reach the Eldorado? I probably won't be able to say it. Hello, Nancy, can you hear me?
Yes, Prof, I'm with you. Prof, okay, let me interrogate further. You said a lot of things, and let me try to distill some of the things that you've said. If I understand what you've said, okay, the president has good intentions, but it seems that he was not prepared for the short-term impact of his policies. Some other economists I've also spoken to have actually said that it seems that the president just came up with knee-jerk policies. But if you take a look at, you mentioned, okay, his Chinese visit, for example. I want you to also understand the fact, and even many Nigerians now, that 109 foreign missions do not have substantive ambassadors. Was it the Punch? Yes, the Punch newspaper that I saw some hours ago. The Punch, yeah, so we do not have ambassadors in 109 foreign missions. 13 months down the line, the president came, he fired. You did not ask for a replacement. Meanwhile, he has gone to several foreign trips. Some people now will tell me it's the president's prerogative to hire and fire. Fantastic. But you should know that nature abhors also a vacuum. As you are going there living, who is taking charge? They will tell me, foreign service will tell me, okay, they have charge affairs and whatever. But we know the processes it takes to get an ambassador. For Nigeria not to have formal representation in those high-level conversations, you can imagine what is happening. Okay, I don't even want to talk about that, but that will also show you the history of APC. For me, I'm not a party person. Nothing concerns me. It's about 1 + 1 is equals to 2. If it's not 2, you have to tell me the formula you used not to get to 2. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that, is the president really prepared, or with what you're saying, okay, they just say something, or it's, you know, in science those days, they say for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So it's about reacting, being reactive and not doing what he's supposed to do. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Fuel subsidy, gone. We've seen what has happened now since fuel subsidy, gone. The economy, companies have closed down. We are seeing just a few coming in. And the federal government has the temerity to say that if you don't pay 70K, you would go to jail. Have they asked how many companies have closed down? What are they doing?
Yeah. Nancy, I honestly, like I told you, I did a work on a lot of things that, of course, we are coming back on in our conference again, and we're going to talk about economic indices and growth model for developing economy for Nigeria. And I'm doing the paper also. So the thing is this, Tinubu, Tinubu handlers needs to also help him, because it's like a man that found himself, the success story, well, you can argue with, of Lagos is quite overwhelming. And we have always said, sir, Lagos is just a microcosm of the bigger Nigeria, with its political dysfunction, tribal and religious, asymmetry. So many things are not in place. So I think where I keep repeating, where I score him low is that a man that has been at the ends of affair, at the political forefront, and all that, is pushed for democracy, Nadeko, and all that. I expected more of a detailed and rigorous governance planning, and not unnecessarily party. I mean, because Nigeria should look at other, if we are going to play. Let me tell you, Nancy, one of the things that I struggle as an economist is that I do not think that Nigeria should celebrate a GDP of 3.9 or 4%. I think is probably not well thought through. There is so much of gap in Nigeria that we should be thinking of double-digit growth. And those are things, and you cannot have those structures except you have the structure on ground. Of course, there are news that there is going to be a cabinet shakeup. Probably he's already feeling discontented with the people he has put together. So I believe the handlers needs to engage him. He is still the petroleum minister under this volatility and all that. Handling petroleum minister job, I would expect that if Buhari never knew the impact of petroleum on the economy, Tinubu is well educated, well informed, that he should know that
the president shouldn't even be the petroleum minister, Prof.
Excellent, that's what I'm saying. Tinubu
I think we should just call this, we should call a spade a spade. President shouldn't be the minister of petroleum. In Saudi Arabia is the king, the petroleum minister.
Excellent. He should, listen, I'm telling you, no, this is my view, that Tinubu should have come on the platform that, listen, guys, I am informed, I am educated, I'm a global citizen, therefore I want to handle the economy on a much more informed, unbiased, global, trajectory. So I don't have to be this. I don't have to be that. I need to put this in place.
Why petroleum? Why not food? Why not agriculture? Why petroleum?
Those are the things I score Tinubu low, because I expected more from him. Listen, I expected more because I have a fair respect for him, but I also need to let him know that there are things he just needs to step down and let professionals handle. The issue of, the issue of ambassadors. Tinubu is running around the globe.
He has a lot of stuff on his table.
Listen, you know our FDI. You know FDI. Yes. I mean, for God's sake, you know how money. I mean, things are really, really, really challenging. So I sympathize with him that he probably think he wants to solve it by himself. But it's an institutional structure that can solve an institutional problem. One of the things we lack in this country, I can tell you, is our institutional alignment. I can just tell you one thing. You know, maybe I'm jumping the gun, but do you know, Nancy, that about 20 years ago, you know, I was working on my master's in economics, and you know the topic I took, inflation targeting.
Oh.
And I came to a conclusion that Nigerian economy does not respect any economic thought process. None of the monetary policy that they have adopted could rein in the inflation. 20 years after, the CBN is coming to terms that monetary policy is probably not really. So they are looking at, other things. And they say a lot of misalignment. Why would you not know that all of the things you are doing, working and forcing everything is not having the answer? I think we have a lot of illness, but we are just coming to terms that 2024, we want to rein inflation at 21.4. August, we got inflation 32, everybody is happy. I have my view on whether we should be happy or not.
No, so a lot of people are not happy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not even happy about it.
So Tinubu needs, what I tell my people that Tinubu needs a friendly advice, because the guy is sitting on something. I believe deeply he wasn't sure it was everything he knew. That is the other problem. But now that he's knowing, he should put the house together and let institution run institution and not a man to run institution. That is just what I would prescribe.
But President Tinubu set up an presidential economic, is it coordinating council now? PECC.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Then there's an economic, an ASAP document, economic stabilization plan document. What's happening to all of that? Okay, the president graciously has stayed back. The VP has gone for hunger, or will be the one to represent him there. Agreed. But like I mentioned earlier, Nigeria is not well represented in high-level discussions in the 109 foreign missions across the world. So it's like you are going, who is following up? The president cannot follow up on a majority of those stuff. The foreign minister definitely cannot do all of that. He needs his soldiers on the ground. If you are talking about foreign investment, who does that? Countries now are talking about economic diplomacy. So you will see that whether the president is talking from one side of the mouth, the action is something else. What he's saying is bringing an untoward action, a different impact.
Yeah, Nancy, honestly, listen, it is well celebrated.
And I must say that, sorry to cut you short, President Buhari, it took him, I think, 17 months to appoint ambassador. So whether it's an APC thing, that they always delay.
I'm not sure. First of all, APC is trying to be a party. And, they came together for a reason, not ideology. You understand? There is no ideology behind APC. So I would expect that by now, look, listen, Nigerian political space is not ideological. It's just personal and so many other reasons.
And the political space is killing the economy of this country. Who will tell these politicians this?
Let me also put it this way. See, Nancy, the truth is this, that, this is a robust engagement. It's so heart-wrenching, because I'll tell you why. Because there is a lot of misalignment between the central, everybody said, look, why do we have to have, ways and means like, a market scene? I mean, a daily buying bread and buying akara in Nigeria. You understand? Why should we do that? Why should we keep putting so much pressure? And why is CBN keep doing that? And why is so let me tell you, everybody know, IMF, everybody, there is celebrated literature that it is a documented, celebrated process, but Nigerians lack the will to enforce this policy, to implement without any political bias, regional bias, and religious bias, and all kinds of sentiments. That is the institutional bankruptcy that we have. We are bankrupt institutionally. That is the problem. It's not that we don't know what to say. We know the right words to use. We know the right letter to write, but we are not ready to do what we are saying. And that is what Tinubu, who is, for me, honest, I'm comparing Tinubu to Buhari, honestly. So Tinubu is the learned man, an international person, a global person. He's worked, he's handled positions. So that is what he should focus. How do I enshrine an independent institutional framework? Because without an institution that is independent of personal opinion, you cannot run a dysfunctional system like Nigeria. And that is the fact. Look, we have this year, how many presidential decrees has he done? Executive, this has he done? What is happening to it? That is the problem. It is not enough to just issue out these documents, but do you have the will? Do you have the focus? Do you have the knowledge of the dividend of those directives, those presidential or executive orders? Who is going to ensure? That is Nigerian problem. And you know it, I know it, and a lot of us know it. We can say the right thing, but we are not able to do the right thing. And Tinubu has this mantle to see if he can restructure his trajectory to institutionalize Nigeria. At least, if he can do that, he will go into history. Right now, there is no institution that is really on the template of Nigeria, and is the fact.
Institutionalizing or getting governance done right in the country. I know we can spend the next 5 days.
No, because governance needs to rely on. Governance needs. Listen, if you really want to go into governance, you cannot put governance in your kitchen. Governance doesn't have to be your friends and family. Governance have to be professional.
I understand what you're saying, Prof.
You understand? So we need to separate. We need to separate the emotions and the sentiments that is beclouding our struggle. Tinubu has that chance, and I really challenge him to really ensure that he can achieve something close to something that Nigerians can live after him.
Okay, Prof, I understand what you're saying. What I'm just trying to, the point I'm trying to make, it's about people. And for you to reorientate the kind of people we have in Nigeria now, it's going to take a long time. We must see that kind of forthright leader that has to be in front. But I want to say, we've discussed a few things, but just before we go, you mentioned the ways and means, but I would say that I also support the central bank in terms of keeping the ways and means at 5%, and not the shenanigans that we're seeing at the National Assembly increasing the ways and means to government to 10%. Who does that? Anyway, so I support the central bank in coming out to say it's still at 5%, and let it be that way. Please, somebody should tell those people at the Senate and House. Anyway, Prof, we just have to go. Prof, we have to go. Prof, we have to go.
Means yes, must be given for a focus, not because somebody wants it.
Exactly. And it must be paid back if it's collected within the time frame.
You understand?
Yes. Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you very much, Professor Felix, for coming. We can discuss the economy. That is what I've been doing for a long time. So I can sit down and discuss it for the next 1 week. Thank you very much for coming.
Okay, thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much. And we'll see you again next time.
All right. I've been speaking with Professor Felix. He's an economic analyst, and that's the much we can take on today's edition of the program. Thank you all for being a part of the show. Be the best you can be and be the change that you want to see. I am Nancy Naji. Thank you for watching. In case this is your first time watching us, thank you. Don't subscribe to the channel, drop your comments as well as like, and most of all, share our content.